Beautiful, beautiful movie by Teton Gravity Research, Accomplice. And we are so lucky to be joined by none other than Paul B. We got Paul B. and Todd Jones, I believe. Gentlemen, please come to the stage. Round of applause for these two. My gosh. Yeah. Good to see you. Yeah. Good to see you again. And once again, I'm like, you know, it's my mom at Thanksgiving. Got the.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hold on to it this time. I'm not gonna set it down. It's too late in the night. So turns out that TGR, yeah, they make ski movies, snowboard movies, and really, really good mountain biking movies. And what did you guys think of that, by the way? Like in terms of like the rootsy vibe. So. I want to get into that before we'll dive into all the kind of the micro stories because there's so many things going on in that film. But like something like this, I think people take it for granted when they see the finished product. There's a lot of work that goes in as a filmmaker. Yes or no?
Yes,
yeah.
An incredible amount. And I have the opportunity now. I direct a lot of our projects, and I also executive produce a lot of our projects. So this was one that I executive produced. Our director was Jeremy Grant, who's done a ton of mountain bike north of Nightfall, where the trail ends, and just an amazing director. And it's really fun for me to go from being the director and working with executive producers to being an executive producer and working with directors. And you kind of know the delicate balance there of trying to keep the inspiration going.
You say delicate balance, but it's delegating is not the easiest thing. And then being, having no ego and allowing people to kind of give them their creative leash, so to speak, right? That's something you have, especially with projects like this that are especially remote.
Yeah, and coming from the direct, still very active directing side, I just have a ton of respect for what Jeremy's going through in the film and all the battles and plates and. The Brandon Semenuk segment was, we were lucky to have shot most of the film, and we really wanted the Semenuk segment, but COVID happened and shut everything down. And then when lockdown opened up, and the film was supposed to release May 5th and do a 200-stop film tour, which we had to delay till July 9th, but that allowed us to get the Semenuk segment, and it was really a wild journey.
Okay, so speaking of wild journeys, that you gave me the perfect transition to Paul. Great to see you, buddy. By the way, I hope we're going to be able to surf when you're down here.
What's that?
Well, we better go surfing when you're down here.
The ocean scares me.
Okay, all right. So, Paul, I know we're going to end the night. You actually mentioned it earlier. We probably should have done this backwards and shown the movie that we're going to end on, any one of us, kind of about your journey and what happened on that fateful day. But this is really like to see you and Cam, and then also I know Cam as well. He is a legend of a human. To hear like your words and like you really anchor the film so well. What was the experience like of kind of sharing the experience of kind of getting back on the bike and showing people that you, regardless of where you're at in your writing ability, like you're proud of where you're at.
It was such a humbling experience. I'm very blessed, right? Like, you guys are gonna watch the next film, and you guys are gonna figure out what I went through, and to work with TGR, like, come on, it's such a mind blowing, right?
I hope. By the way, if I've randomly shown up in Jackson Hole, and he can hook you up with occasional lift tickets. Him and Mark Carter, by the way.
Okay, I'm gonna take you up on that. Okay. But like, I get a phone call from Jeremy Grant, the director for this film, and he's like, "How do you feel about filming a segment with TGR?" And I was like, "Man, am I gonna take someone else's position? Like, I don't know if I deserve to like be in this film, because as an athlete, when you shoot these segments, it's all about progression, and you want to do that next crazy trick, and for me, I'm like, that's not even an option, like, I'm here to like, I just ride the bike just to have fun. It's a therapy. It's a tool for me to have the freedom to be able to do it. And he's like, this is what this film's about. This is about you and the relationship of the bike. And he's like, I want to do a segment with you and Zink. And my first mountain bike segment I ever had was in 2004 with Zink. I was like, that's a no-brainer. I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna
You're
do
like,
it.
yes and yes.
I'm gonna do it with my best friend. And it's so crazy because my first mountain bike segment I ever had was with Zink in 2004. So here we are, shooting a segment in Crested Butte, riding together, just like we were in 2004. And it was such an honor and blessing. And to work with these guys was super humbling experience and nothing but class act.
Yes. Right? So I want to talk about the amalgamation. Like when you look at a film like this, there's so many different personalities in mountain biking. You have the Laconakis. You have, I call him like an angry wasp or hornet when he rides, and like but they're all, and you have Aggie, and you have like Sorgi, and from Zink to Paul, like so many different personalities. How do you kind of categorize, and how do you plan out a movie where you can do all of them justice in their own right?
Yeah, great question. I mean, Paul could probably answer that better than me because he's such a But I will. But working with Jeremy, he kept coming to us and he said, we need to showcase this part of the sport, and we need to do this because this showcases this part of the sport. And I am a big mountain biker, but learning what it is, and all these action sports and outdoor adventures and activities, they give us so much, and so. As an executive producer, the job was to respect Jeremy, and that's why we hired him, because he was the man, and to trust him to bring all the different facets and sides and characters to the sport, and also really bring the accomplice. The bike is your accomplice when you're a little kid to when you get to the level that Paul and all these guys do. That thing, you really develop a relationship with it. It's a piece of metal with rubber tires on it, but and Paul could probably speak to that more, but it's a very, very deep relationship.
No, it was such a nice narrative, like right from the get-go. It reminded me of watching early footage of a Travis Pastrana when he opened his first motorcycle, like his P50. And it's one of those things where like we take it for granted, 2 wheels. And then here comes COVID, and then, okay, the bike industry explodes, and people are like, oh, riding bikes and getting on trails is fun?
And it's cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Who would have thunk, right? But it's so cool. So I want to ask you the question of it. So for both of you, watching the film, is there one part of the film that you're like, that's so mountain bike. I love that. I'm like, that's a really nice moment. Like maybe the best takeaway of the film. And it doesn't. Yeah. It could be from your part. It could be from a part that you were involved with, Todd. Like this, but permission to go anywhere.
I mean, for me, like I love the filming aspect of things, right? So like for me, I loved Agassi's segment. That water shot, how they mounted the Phantom underneath the water, and to get that crazy like detail of the tires splashing against the water. I was like, that's such an awesome shot and segment. Like just to see the raw moments of mountain biking slashing into the dirt with no sound, like it was pretty magical. How many takes? I mean, that wasn't my. I mean, he would know.
I don't think it was too many. It's more. It's the classic filmmaking. Prepare for it. Get ready. McGilvery, they spoke about that earlier. It's plan it, do it right, and then it happens.
It goes like this. That was perfect. Let's do it one more time. And then you do it like that was even closer to perfect. Let's do another.
I say go to the second to last take, because that's where the shot is that we got. But for me, I mean, I'm going to go 3-part answer on that. The digging up the archival footage of all these guys and bringing that to life and really showcasing the how they all started with the bike, I think is a really special moment. And then Bentley. I mean, who doesn't love Bentley, right? The dog, Carson Storch's dog, and
the two of them sleeping on the couch. That's going to be my Hallmark card for Christmas.
Incredible seg, and all the athletes, and then honestly Paul's segment, to be able to take something that in spirit is an action sports film, and it's a fairly simple concept, and develop this story of the importance of the bike to all these people, and then to see a story as heavy and big as Paul's, and to see Paul ride again, that's when we're hitting the next level of filmmaking, and so that's a really proud moment.
Yeah, agreed. By the way, I want to say too, the fact that when you bring up Paul's segment, we're so used to the end of the movie, whether it be a TGR, doesn't matter if it's Matchstick, it doesn't matter if it's Warren Miller going back to Barrymore, we're used to that last section where it's like, okay, this is the big trick, like it's the hammer, but it's the story, and that's what I love to see is that TGR as filmmakers, you're just getting so much more immersed in the story, and the reason that it matters and why that's the end of the movie is Paul's story is undoubtedly riveting. We're all driven to it, and we're all inspired by it. So I just want to compliments, by the way, if I may say.
Thank you very much. It's an honor coming from this man.
Okay.
He's been a legend himself in the industry.
Okay. And I do want to point out, okay, so show of hands here, and I know we got people outside as well watching. Anyone who was here last night out on the fairway? Okay. And we saw Make Believe, the TGR ski movie / snowboard movie. Okay. And we saw Kai Jones, his son, throwing double backies. Yeah, Kai got out there and surfed today, Thalia.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Thank you. We got to experience your beautiful ocean and refresh our bodies before we go back to winter.
Okay.
It was really, really awesome.
That's exactly what we want when you come here to Laguna Beach. So on that, I'm going to say thank you so much to Todd Jones, TGR, Steve Jones as well, and of course, Paul, thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you all so much for having us.
Which segues perfectly into our closer of the night. This is